Welcome to the Recon Trader. In today's video, I will share with you a new TradingView indicator that I developed around the ICHIMOKU cloud strategy, and it appears that it has an insane potential of 8,000% profit when back tested on the BTC 4-hour charts over on the Binance exchange. Now, it is important to note, backtest results do not guarantee future results. Actually, backtest results don't guarantee results, but as traders, we use backtesting to determine whether or not we have a valid strategy. We will only really know that answer, though, once we commit to live fire. So, with that all in mind, let's get into the weeds of this new TradingView indicator that I developed around the ICHIMOKU cloud. Alright, so if we jump over here to the indicators that I have created under Recon Trader over on TradingView, you can scroll down here to the Recon Trader ICHIMOKU Cloud Strategy, give that a click. And for those of you who are not familiar with the ICHIMOKU Cloud and how it actually operates, it is actually kind of an all-in-one indicator. It looks at support and resistance, it looks at trend, momentum. So as day traders, we don't typically want to trade based on just one indicator like a trend. We want to know momentum, support, resistance, things like that. And so by utilizing the ICHIMOKU cloud to send us potential buy or sell signals, we get some confirmation from a variety of different signals, including support and resistance, as well as momentum and trend direction. And the indicator basically creates a cloud by taking multiple averages and plotting them on a chart, and then basically uses those figures to compute a cloud that attempts to forecast where the price may find support or resistance in the future. And that is also how we can find potential breakout opportunities. But I did add a couple more weapons to this indicator. It's not just ICHIMOKU cloud straight up. I added a couple other moving average calculations in order to come up with this strategy. And so this strategy is composed of several different calculations, and you can configure a few of those different calculations to meet your trading strategy. And you can basically adjust the conversion line, the baseline, leading alpha, leading bravo, and lagging span. And so I do recommend test firing a few different configurations of these calculations to dial in your best possible strategy. And it's also important to note that this strategy is still in the testing and development stage, and again, backtest results do not guarantee future results. Anytime you use anybody's trading strategy or indicator or what have you, do so at your own risk. Now, with that all in mind, let's jump into the weeds and take a look at the actual performance on a chart here on TradingView. And in this case, we can see the first signal on the chart is along over here, and that is when the price actually does cross up and above essentially the baseline, which is the blue line running through the chart. And in order to fire off as a long, the price would also need to be above your other signal lines, and in this case it is above all the signal lines, thus we get the fire off to go long. And then eventually when the price starts to roll over, the position closes for a profit. I think that's probably about a 2.5% profit. And the reason this position actually closed was based on a trailing stop loss. And that trailing stop loss I have set up is at a 4% trailing stop loss. And you can see pretty much from the top of the wick here to the bottom of the wick on this candle is around 4%, and that would trigger the stop loss to go ahead and close the position. Now the next signal is on a short, and again now we see the price crossing down below the blue baseline, and then it does get down below all the other lines, and thus we get the signal to go short. And so we would get short on the close of this candle. And then we get the signal to close our position on this big green candle here when it closes, and we'd capture just around a 1.75% profit. And again, that's going to be based on that 4% trailing stop loss. That's just how I have it set up. And again, this is my strategy based on my risk tolerance and what I'm looking for out of this longer term 4-hour trade. And with that being said, if we drop down here to the strategy tester, you can see how this strategy has performed. And in fact, if I click on the deep back testing, from basically the first date available is going to be September of 2019 on the Binance exchange anyway for this pair, all the way to the current day in February 2024. And so if we take a look at the actual numbers, you can see the net profit would be around 8,200%. With a total of 139 closed trades. Again, you action junkies, this is not going to get you a trade every hour or even every day, maybe not even every week, but you will have to wait for that setup. Now, the win percentage is pretty low. It's only around 36%, but our profit factor is at 2.5%, and a profit factor of 1 is considered acceptable. A profit factor of 2 is actually considered pretty good. Now, the next most important factor to me would be my max drawdown, and in this case, the max drawdown is around 27%. Industry norm is around 25 to 30%, and so we're right within the industry norm as far as that goes. And then you can see the average trade is a 2% profit, and in fact, those two trades we looked at were just around that 2%. One was like 2.5, the other one was 1.75, and so that makes sense that our average trade profit is around 2%. Now, if we click on performance summary, we'll get a little more details. You can see again, the total profit was at 8,200%. And what I like to compare that to is how did that perform versus buy and hold? Now, if I bought and held Bitcoin in September of 2019, my buy and hold return would be 486%. Not a bad return for just buying and holding. However, utilizing this strategy, we're looking at more like 8,000%. And again, the maximum drawdown was 27%. So well within industry standards. Now, if we scroll down, take a look at the Sorrento ratio. That ratio is really high. Perhaps I'm not taking enough risk. And with this ratio, you're probably looking more at an industry average of around 3 to be considered good. This is coming in at 7, so perhaps that's really good. Or maybe I'm just not taking enough risk. But more importantly to me is the profit factor. And that profit factor I like to see above 2. And in this case, we're definitely above 2. And on the long side, actually, that profit factor is almost 5. And on the short side, it's a lot lower. It's at 1.2, but it's still above that 1, so it's acceptable. Now, if we scroll down and continue to check out the numbers, again, total trades was only 139, so you're not getting a lot of trades, but you're on a longer time frame, on a 4-hour time frame. You're not going to have a lot of trades. Number of winning trades would be 50. Number of losing trades is 89. So you have more losers than you do winners. And some of you might not be able to stomach that. I am able to stomach that as long as my risk versus reward is high enough. And thus I know I will be a winning trader as long as my risk versus reward is high enough. And in this case, your risk versus reward ratio is 4.5. That basically means I have a risk of 1 versus a reward of 4. And anyone who can do basic math will tell you if you're risking 1 and winning 4 in the long run, you're a winning trader. And something else you can take a look at is the average winning trade. You're at 7.5%. Your average losing trade is 1%. So your winners are running and the strategy is cutting the losers short. You don't want the losers to run. You want to get out as soon as the strategy sees that it is wrong. And in this case, a 1% loss versus a 7.5% win rate. Again, a very profitable strategy. And in fact, the largest winning trade was 200%, and the largest losing trade was at 4%, 4.16. And so your largest losing trade is under 5%. It's actually around 4%. And at the end of the day, that makes this a very profitable strategy with this 8,000% potential profit. And if you want to try this indicator on another trading pair, let's say Ethereum, USDT over on the 4-hour Binance chart, you can see with the ICHIMOKU cloud applied to the chart, here is an entry for a long, and it closes out up here for a profit of just around almost 6.5%. So not a bad trade there. And we can check out the strategy tester down here and see how overall this strategy has performed. It is at around a 682% win rate. I've not made any adjustments actually to the calculations. So just simply by deploying this strategy on the Ethereum chart without any adjustments, it's already at a 682% win rate. The percent profitable still only around 35%. How the profit factor is over 3%, which would be considered really good. The max drawdown around 23%. So again, probably not putting on enough risk in this case. Would definitely want to see the net profit go up. I think if we look at performance history versus long-term buy and hold, right, if we bought and held Ethereum back in September 2019, you would have experienced a 646% return. You're beating the buy and hold strategy, but you would certainly want to come over here and click on this cog and make some adjustments to the different calculations to try to improve the strategy. You might also want to try different time frames, like click on the daily chart and then see if that increased your performance at all. In fact, it did not. It increased the profitability and the profit factor and really brought down the maximum drawdown, but the net profit was cut down to 367%. Again, I haven't spent any time fine-tuning this strategy on Ethereum. So far, I have spent all of my time working on this strategy on Bitcoin, USDT perpetual contracts over on Binance on the 4-hour chart. I have pretty much fine-tuned it where I think I'm getting realistic results. And with that being said, I'm ready to deploy this strategy to live fire, so that'll be a future video. But if you want to add my ICHIMOKU Cloud strategy indicator to your charts, first of all, you'll need to be one of my YouTube channel members. They will have access to a video with a link that will give them access to this indicator. It will bring them over here to this indicator page. You can see the little lock that indicates this is a private indicator and only available via a link. Once you click on the link, arrive at this page, all you'll need to simply do is scroll down till you see the add to favorite indicators blue button. Give that a click. And now the indicator would be available if you click on your indicators tab up here under your favorites tab. If you scroll through there, you would eventually find the RECON Trader ICHIMOKU Cloud strategy in your favorites list. Give that a click and it would add the strategy to your chart and you could then see your backtest results. But again, you will need to join my YouTube channel members in order to get access to the exclusive videos they have access to. Those videos have the links to my private indicators. And so once you join the squad, you'll have access to all my private indicators, not just this indicator. So I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this video. Now I will do an update video in the future on how this strategy is actually performing to live fire. So you might want to shoot that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. Also, if you like this video, do me a favor, spike a like. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section down below. And until next time, remember, never send your money into battle without first doing your recon. See you in the next video.